Hello everyone and welcome to our channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. The mission had been flawless up until the very last second. She was as fierce and focused as ever, her every motion purposeful, and her eyes always a step ahead, seeing threats before they appear. And you kept her side, watching her with a silent admiration that had blossomed long ago and had only grown with each passing mission together. You would do anything for her. You knew that. And tonight, it seemed that fate would test just how far that anything would go. The sound of a gunshot echoed through the narrow alleyway, the world slowing down in that instant. Instinct kicked in before you could even think. You didn't even hesitate as you pushed her out of the way, taking the brunt of the attack. Pain exploded in your side, spreading through your torso like wildfire as you staggered back, clutching at the wound as you fell to the ground. Are you out of your mind? Arlecchino's voice snapped through the haze, sharp and filled with a rare kind of fear. She was at your side in an instant, hands pressing down hard on the wound to stop the bleeding. Her normally composed face was tight with anger, but beneath that, you could see her barely concealed panic. You tried to laugh, but it came out more as a cough, blood staining your lips. I guess I've always been a little reckless. Don't you dare joke about this, she hissed, her eyes narrowing as she focused on you. Every ounce of her energy poured into keeping you grounded, keeping you with her. You don't get to make light of your life like this. You could feel the world slipping away, the edges of your vision darkening, but Arlecchino's voice, strong and unwavering, kept you anchored. Stay with me. If you think for a second that I'm letting you die here, you're gravely mistaken, she says firmly, her fingers pressing harder against the wound. And the part of you wanted to argue, to tell her it was fine. She'd be fine without you. But the fierce determination in her eyes, and the barely hidden anguish, kept your words at bay. You had never seen her so raw, so vulnerable, and it struck you just how much she meant to her, even if she would never say it out loud. I couldn't let them hurt you, he whispered. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Her face softened for a brief moment, a flicker of something softer crossing her gaze. Idiot. Do you think I want to see you die for me? She muttered, her voice dropping to a whisper as she leaned closer, her breath warm against your skin, and a weak smile tugged at your lips as you looked up at her, trying to memorize the worry, the fear, the warmth in her expression. Well, I don't think you want me to die for you, but if it keeps you safe, then yes, I'll do it. Every time. She pressed her lips together, silent for a moment, as she kept pressure on the wound, her hands shaking ever so slightly. You're so stubborn. I guess I learned from the past, you managed to say, your voice growing faint as the world around you began to blur. Her form seemed to fade in and out, and you clung to the feeling of her hands, her touch, the warmth she was pouring into keeping you here. Don't you dare close your eyes, she said sharply, noticing the way your eyelids started to droop. Her voice was a lifeline, fierce and unwavering. We're getting you out of here. You're not leaving me. I will not allow it. And you could tell she was trying her best to remain strong. And it was actually difficult to see and watch. You had never seen her struggle with that before. But right now, as it appeared you were on death's door, Arlecchino was worried. She was scared she might actually lose you. You're gonna be alright, she repeated, as if trying to convince herself as much as she was trying to convince you. Her fingers brushed over your face, her gaze never leaving yours. I'll get you to safety. Just keep your eyes on me. You wanted to stay awake, to reassure her, but the pain and the exhaustion were too much. Still, you tried to fight it, to hold on to her voice, her warmth. Arlecchino, thank you for everything. Save your thanks. You're going to survive this, and when you do, you'll have a lifetime to thank me. So save it. And with a faint smile, you let her words be the last thing you held on to, letting them carry you into unconsciousness, knowing that she would do everything to keep you safe, just as you had done for her. And although, in reality, as you were unconscious, Arlecchino would keep blaming herself for what happened, for that moment where she just couldn't see the bullet before you did. She was actually happy to have someone like you in her life. Someone who was willing to do this for her, even though she would never want to do it. Not now, and not ever again. But to have someone who loves her so much, someone willing to sacrifice themselves for her, it was everything that she needed, everything that she wanted in her life. Someone who loved her unconditionally. And now, she knew that she would do anything in the world to make sure you survived, to keep you safe from ever having to do this again.